What if I told you that some of the luxury brands you see splashed across Instagram, flaunted in viral unboxing hauls, and plastered on airport trolleys are the very names that the ultra-wealthy quietly avoid? Today we're going to unpack the most overrated luxury brands that real rich people strategically sidestep, not out of snobbery, but because of what those logos subconsciously signal within their circles. Welcome back to Girl Talk with Ju, where fashion doesn't just look good, it thinks deeper. Follow us on Instagram at GTWJMag for daily luxury psychology insights and exclusives from the world's most elite runways and resorts. Let's start with Gucci. Now, Gucci had a phenomenal revival under Alessandro Michele, turning maximalism into a mainstream status symbol for the masses. But the irony is, the moment something becomes too accessible, both visually and commercially, it begins to lose its prestige currency among the truly affluent. The rich don't hate Gucci, but what was once coded insider fashion became a billboard of entry-level luxury. In high net worth circles, a loud Gucci monogram tote doesn't communicate wealth, it communicates newness. And newness has never been a currency in old money culture. Real wealth trades in familiarity, restraint, and timelessness. Next, Balmain. A brand synonymous with power shoulders, opulent embellishments, and celebrity red carpets. The problem? Balmain's aesthetic operates on a very specific, hyper-visible brand of wealth signaling, one rooted in hypersexualized, high-drama silhouettes that scream attention. In understated wealth circles, the minute you have to announce yourself, you've already betrayed the code. Billionaires don't wear Balmain to Capri or Gustard. They wear Brunello Cucinelli, Loro Piana, and hand-me-down Zegna cashmere. Not because it's cheaper, but because it whispers power through craftsmanship, not sparkle. Let's talk about Fendi. The FF monogram revival was a social media hit, no question, but it also turned the label into a fast-cycle trend magnet. Quiet luxury culture, on the other hand, thrives on pieces that last 20, 30, even 50 years. Logos date you. Fendi's logo-heavy offerings now carry the baggage of influencer marketing oversaturation, and in real wealth enclaves, being mistaken for a TikTok micro-influencer is one of the fastest ways to get quietly iced out of the room. Then we have Christian Louis Vuitton. Those signature red soles, instantly recognizable, instantly dated. It's not about price, it's about visibility. The true elite aren't concerned with showing a red flash underfoot. They care whether the leather was custom patinaed in Florence or the last artisan-made slipper by Edward Green. Old money and power wealth dressing lives in details no one else notices but those in the know. This isn't about snobbery, it's about social survival. Fashion isn't just aesthetic, it's tribal coding. In the circles that can afford anything, restraint is the ultimate flex. The reason brands like the Loro Piana, Zegna, and Charvet command obsessive loyalty in these spaces is because they allow the wearer to move through the world unchallenged, with their wealth signaled only to those fluent in the language of scarcity and quiet excellence. There's an unspoken rule in power wealth circles. If you can see the label from across the room, you've already overpaid in social capital. Notice how, when you see paparazzi photos of old money families in Lake Como, Wimbledon, or Saint-Tropez, you don't see logos. You see textured linens, sun-faded cashmeres, perfect tailoring, and jewelry, so heirloom. It's probably older than the influencer wearing 3 new season Gucci pieces at once. The psychology here is simple. Exclusivity isn't just about price. It's about access to aesthetic codes that the mainstream doesn't even know exist. That's the world real wealth protects. So next time someone tells you luxury is about what's trending, remember this: the richest people in the room aren't competing for your attention. They're competing for invisibility. Follow us on Instagram at GTWJMag for more of these deep dives into the unspoken rules of elite style culture. And let me know in the comments, which brands do you think have lost their prestige and which ones still hold quiet power? Because in this world, what you wear says more about what you don't need to prove than anything else ever could. Here's where it gets even more interesting. It's not just about what brands they avoid, but where and how these people shop. The ultra-wealthy don't chase seasonal drops or camp outside boutiques for limited editions. They have private client managers, bespoke services, and archive access to pieces you'll never see on a sales floor or an influencer's story. The very idea of queuing for fashion is foreign to them. In fact, the current obsession with it bags, viral trends and designer collabs is largely a middle market spectacle. It's a high visibility game designed to feed aspirational luxury customers, those who buy not for personal pleasure or heritage but for external validation. Real wealth exists in the shadows of this performance. Take the row. Why do the richest women on the planet, from discreet billionaires' wives to international art dealers, wear it religiously? Because the rose pieces don't shout. They don't date you. And crucially, unless you know, you don't know. It's about playing a long game of social camouflage where your wardrobe never betrays your net worth to anyone unqualified to recognize it. And Loro Piana? It's not just a brand, it's a social marker. When you wear a Loro Piana cashmere jacket to a yacht club lunch, it signals heritage, not hype. That jacket likely wasn't bought last season. It was worn by your mother at the same event 20 years ago. This is what wealth preservation looks like in wardrobe form: timeless, tactile, intimate. On the other end of the spectrum, brands like Gucci and Prada, those still exceptional houses with undeniable historical merit, have leaned heavily into hypermarketing and youth culture. The result? A dilution of brand equity in high net worth enclaves where visibility is considered vulgar. It's not that these labels have lost quality, it's that they've lost their discretion. And this tension between visible and invisible wealth is a huge reason why we're seeing the global rise of quiet luxury or vanilla elegance. It's not a trend, it's a correction. In an era where wealth inequality is more visible than ever, those who hold real generational power are retreating from the performative aspects of luxury fashion. Their wardrobes have become coded safe spaces, places where price is never discussed, logos are nowhere in sight, and every garment has a story, a provenance, a meaning beyond commerce. And that's the piece no one talks about, the psychology of anonymity as privilege. To be unremarkable in public while unmistakably powerful in private is the highest status symbol of all. So if you're chasing real elegance, not influencer cosplay, study the brands that don't run billboards, don't post lookbooks on TikTok, and don't cater to seasonal trends. Look for houses that only insiders whisper about, the ones you can't Google a price for. That's where power lives. If you're loving this kind of deep dive into the unspoken codes of wealth, hit follow on Instagram at GTWJMag. It's where we talk about the psychology of power dressing, luxury history, and the fashion world's most fascinating social dynamics daily. Leave me a comment and tell me, which brands do you think have truly crossed over into the performative mass market, and which ones still keep their secrets? Because in fashion, what's unseen says everything.